I'm John Beaton, and we are here at Fairhaven Farm, just north of Duluth, where we grow a diverse mix of vegetables to serve our CSA customers, and we also grow starter plants out of our greenhouse. Here we've got some plants growing. This greenhouse is used for the propagation of our starter plants. Well, now the season's done with, the starter plant season. Everyone's planted their garden. So we have this piece of infrastructure which we have built, which now potentially would sit idle the rest of the season. But it's a valuable space. We can heat it in the fall. It's a greenhouse, so we can control our irrigation, we can control these variables. And so this is our kind of attempt, at least initial attempt, to utilize the space during the summer months. Being a farmer is really difficult. It requires a lot of different equipment, and it requires many different skill sets. And you don't always have the exact thing that you need. So oftentimes you'll find yourself inventing a tool or making it work, or just having to kind of make things go on the fly. That's part of, it's a challenge, but it's also what makes it fun, and it's what pushes you to be creative and to kind of keep your mind sharp. Dump our greens in our wash tank. Yeah, no, my grandpa was a big inspiration. Grandpa Jack, he was a jack of all trades, and he could do anything. He could weld, and he could do plumbing, electrical. He built the family home. I mean, he was just a real big inspiration to me. So this is our wood-fired boiler, which heats our greenhouse. We kept having an increase in demand for our starter plants, and so it came time to erect a new greenhouse. And right from the get-go, I did not want to be dependent on propane and the fluctuating price of propane and having to deal with the trucks to come to fill up the tank and all this kind of stuff. And I also wanted to kind of be a bit more sustainable and use some resources that I have on site. And so I set out to kind of design a system that would heat a greenhouse using a wood-fired boiler. And so I was able to find a used unit basically designed to heat about a 5,000 square foot space. And so I was able to find this unit, which can deliver about 250,000 BTUs. And basically this thing heats up a reservoir of about 200 gallons of water and delivers that hot water into the greenhouse. Basically what we're looking at now is the manifold. As that hot water gets pumped into the greenhouse from the boiler, it's delivered through an inlet, which comes, and then we take that hot water and we divide it into a couple different ways. This piece of PEX is going up into a water-to-air heat exchanger. I designed a little different application in that I had this shroud custom built. I sourced a large exhaust fan and the water-to-air heat exchanger, and I got an oversized unit there again. It's rated about 220,000 BTUs. And so I can dump all the hot air that's built up around this coil into the greenhouse. You'll see on these other runs, these deliver hot water through a smaller gauge PEX tube that are mounted right under the tables where our plants are held. And so we're delivering heat right to the roots of the plant. And that's the most important part. That's where you're going to protect from any kind of frost or freezing damages, by keeping the roots warm. And we also have one experimental run here, which this actually just delivers hot water through a coil that runs through a 250-gallon tank of water to exchange the heat from the water in the PEX tube to the tank of water. So I'm basically just warming this water, which I'll then use to irrigate the plants. So I'm not watering my starter plants with cold well water. I'm using a pre-warmed water. Overall, it's been a success. I had to do a lot of research and kind of figure out how it all kind of works in general, and then modify it for my application.